The first mention in the history of women's suffrage was in 1776. Abigail Adams wrote to her husband, John Adams, asking to remember the ladies in the new code of laws that were being formed. John Adams simply denied the request with humor and replied, "Men will fight the despotism of the petticoat."
Women had a huge impact on the subject of anti-slavery, but were denied participation because of their sex. Many married men actually took their wives' opinions greatly and based most of their decisions off of the decisions with their wives, but never truly admitted to this. Other men felt that a woman's place wasn't the government, business, or where other men were.
In 1848, from July 19th to July 20th, the first Women's Rights Convention took place in Seneca Falls, New York. It was planned by Lucretia Mott, a Quaker feminist. Along with many female Quakers in the area of the convention, Elizabeth Cady Stanton organized and called forth the convention to feminists all over America. Stanton and the other Quaker women presented two prepared documents, the Declaration of Sentiments and a list of resolutions. The Declaration of Sentiments was signed by 68 women and 32 men. The entire document was based off of the Declaration of Independence.
In 1868, the 14th Amendment was ratified, and the 15th Amendment was passed, giving black men the right to vote. Women petitioned to be included but were completely turned down. During this event, the formation of New England Women's Suffrage Association took place, and 172 women in New Jersey attempted to vote, but their ballots were ignored. In May 1869, the National Women's Suffrage Association formed with Elizabeth Cady Stanton as president.
In 1872, Susan B. Anthony and supporters were arrested for voting. Anthony, her sisters, and 11 of other women held for $500 bail. Anthony herself is held for $1,000 bail. A year later, in 1873, Anthony was denied trial by jury and lost her case in June and was fined $100 plus costs.
On the 4th of July, 1876, in Philadelphia, Susan B. Anthony read the Declaration for Rights of Women from a podium in front of the Liberty Bell. The crowd was extremely supportive and cheered in excitement.
In 1878, the first women's suffrage amendment was first introduced. In 1890, the NWSA and the AWSA merged to form the NAWSA. Their focus is working for women's suffrage on the state level.
In 1902, Elizabeth Cady Stanton dies, and in 1906, Susan B. Anthony dies as well. And both never see the 19th Amendment passed, granting women the right to vote.
In 1910, Washington State grants women's suffrage. In 1911, California grants women's suffrage. In 1912, Teddy Roosevelt's Progressive Party includes women's suffrage in their platform. Oregon, Arizona, and Kansas grant women's suffrage as well.
March 3, 1913, the Women's Suffrage Parade on the eve of Wilson's inauguration is attacked by a mob. No arrests were made, but hundreds of women were injured.
In January of 1917, the National Women's Party posed Sentinels of Liberty at the White House. In June, arrests begin and nearly 500 women are arrested. Approximately 168 women received severe jail time. During this time, North Dakota, Indiana, Nebraska, and Michigan grant presidential suffrage. Arkansas grants primary suffrage, while New York, South Dakota, and Oklahoma states' constitutions grant suffrage.
In 1918, the jailed suffragists were released from prison because the appellate court ruled that all the arrests were illegal. During this time, President Wilson declared his support for suffrage, and the suffrage amendment passed in the U.S. House with 2/3 vote, but it lost by 2 votes in Senate.
In January 1919, the suffrage amendment passes U.S. State Senate on June 4th, and ratification begins by at least 36 states. In 1920, the 19th Amendment, called the Susan B. Anthony Amendment, is ratified by Tennessee on August 18, and it becomes a law on August 26.
The 19th Amendment reads, "The rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of sex." The fight for women's suffrage was finally over. Of course, many citizens, including some women, were sexist and disagreed with the accomplishments, but finally females had been given the right to vote and be a part of America.
Today, women still face the judgmental views of sexism, but it is fair to say that women are a huge part of our society. We now have teachers, Senate, police officers, Congress, and many more roles that women fill.
Women have always been the strong ones of the world. The men are always seeking from a woman a little pillow to put their heads down on. They are always longing for the mother who held them as infants. Coco Chanel.
A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong.
If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.